know exactly any details that could be provided?
I'm providing all the details that I will. Again, for the record, you have not been exposed, from my opinion, because of the distance that you are away from them, and my understanding based upon my review of county policy.
Yeah, I'm not saying me myself have been
Understood.
exposed.
Well, that's why I asked them though too, right? I wanted to make sure they had no concerns, or if they had a concern, to see if I could accommodate it in any way. I'm satisfied that if they don't have a concern, that we can continue from my opinion because of the distance.
The entirety of the jury, though, have they been exposed in any way?
I don't know the specifics because of the 6-foot rule, and no one has asked me to investigate that further.
Wouldn't it be smart, though, to see?
I don't believe that's necessary under the circumstances.
Well, if anything, just for future reference, like, what if it plays a part later on?
Well, I'll certainly take your concerns under advisement, and if I believe any further questioning needs to be done, I'll do that. At this point, I don't believe it needs to be done. But I'll think about that, and I'll take it under advisement, and if I change my mind, I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'm just saying, because if anything, it probably would be smart for the long run to make sure no one else was compromised, considering that.
Let me make a record there. No one has indicated they are compromised. I don't think we can make assumptions about how anyone who's been exposed or tested is feeling. You can be asymptomatic and test positive. You can have mild symptoms. I trust my jurors that they would report if they're not able to sit through the proceedings. And I will further advise them through the bailiffs that they are to report if they ever get to a point where they feel they're not able to sit through here, and if so that we're advised and I can tell the parties.
Yeah, that's what I was referring to, because it went from Monday, which at that time it wasn't known. Could have been flu, could have been just not feeling well, could have been anything, and then today is, then you kind of worry about tomorrow, Friday, over the weekend.
Mr. Brooks, I share all of those concerns, but my other concern is that we are in the 3rd week of trial, and that we should keep going until the conclusion of this matter, understanding what has happened.
All right, I just wanted to put that on the record, because
I appreciate that.
It seemed like the circumstances were different when it was me. Just saying.
Are you making any specific requests given this information?
Well, I believe that the jury clearly all congregate together. I think it would be smart to make sure everybody is tested.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Fuck off.
That's
Fuck off.
It would be smart to do that.
Yeah, you go get tested. Fuck off.
I'm not going to mandate testing for the jurors. That much I can tell you. So that request is denied.
And the grounds for the denial?
You're an asshole.
I'm not going to mandate that the jurors be subjected to testing. They're the ones who indicated they are comfortable being here. They don't have concerns. And again, I would trust them to report to me if anything changes.
I would trust that too, but it still would refer back to Monday, when the first knowledge of someone having an illness or a potential illness
YouTube
was those same questions that were asked today, asked Monday.
I did not.
I'm quite sure.
What's up, guys? Welcome. Good morning. Pilled, YouTube, D Live, Twitch. Let me just make sure we're running. It's day 13. And Internet's still acting crazy. I don't think it's my computer. I think it's the connection. I've never had a problem with this machine. Well, we'll try to get through it, see what happens. Long stream yesterday. Feel a little better, got a little sleep, a little recharged. Woke up. It's it's cooler here. It's much cooler here. If you're in the heartland of the country, if you're in points north of me, it's still pretty, it's got pretty cold. I'm seeing some 20s throughout and 30s, and even in South Dakota, it's in 17 in Aberdeen Regional Airport, 17 degrees. Wow. So we'll be doing some restreaming, some multi-streams. See who pops up. See if the chat is active today. If the chat's not active, again, I'll probably bail early. It's hard to be a streamer if you don't have people chatting. And I know people watch, but it's just like, I don't know. I guess y'all just, leave. I get it. Sometimes you would just want to listen to something while you're working. So I keep that in mind. But yeah, when we go, an hour or more without anyone chatting, it's like, man, what are we doing? So a lot of news to cover. It's getting to the end, bro. It's I don't know. We're gonna keep grinding, but it's kind of like we're just chasing our tails. That's why I just been doing the kind of infotainment thing, because it's just like doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. And so I just come on and stream at this point when, I'm watching it anyway. I have, it's fascinating to me. It's interesting. And I know some people like it too, but we'll see what happens. So let's get back to it and see what they got to say.
I certainly questioned them much more it was a very brief. I put what I said to them on the record earlier. It was certainly not what we did here today, and the record reflects that.
Right. I'm quite sure, though, that all the jurors Monday said they didn't have any concerns as well. And then now today, someone else, same thing being said. So
I understand what you're saying.
If it happens again, same thing being said.
But are you making any specific requests as it relates to this topic and this issue?
Well, you denied the request that.
Any other requests?
I just feel like it's smart for them to be tested, so it doesn't come up again in the future, or potentially come up again in the future, because then
they're not going to stop your trial.
We'll all be looking back and saying, well, we could have prevented something like this from happening if we had just nipped it in the bud from the get-go.
Whatever. Could happen at any given time.
Smart to,
people are going
like
home.
You say, you're on the side of caution.
This dude's just trying
appreciate
to.
that.
He's
I'm gonna continue.
He cares. He cares so much, but he didn't give two
But
shits
given
about
the
the people he
responses of the
ran
jurors
over.
today, I'm going to continue.
Get out of here, bro.
I'm going to base this
Get out of here,
off
dude.
their
You're disingenuous.
desire to continue, at least what I would interpret.
It'd be
as
nice
their
if he was
desire to
sincere. He
continue
didn't even
with their
care
service
about
on
the
this
people he
case.
ran over, so I don't want to hear it.
All right, then I want to talk briefly about the jury view. I did provide the parties with a proposed instruction. Before I get to that, though, Mr. Brooks, I have been thinking about your request yesterday. And I know I indicated to you that I would require you to be there. I've rethought that. I've had the overnight to really think about it. And if that is your decision
They had highlights.
to not be present for that,
They're upgrading the.
what I would say
They're
is
making some
this.
changes to YouTube.
I want you to be advised that you have a right to be at that jury view. Did you hear me say that?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much told me yesterday about, everything that was going on. I didn't agree to or consent to it being, well, I was still confused about why did there even need to be a jury view. That was my whole thing. I don't see the relevancy of it, and I also didn't agree with or consent to having to be part of something that I don't see as relevant.
So you don't have to deny
appreciate-
it. They don't have to bring you, and then
And you making a
they'll go
record
watch
of
it
that.
without you.
But did you hear what I said? That you have a right
You
to
have
be
a right,
present
but
for
you
it.
don't
I
have
ruled
to.
that let me back up. There's been a request from the state to have the jury look at the vehicle that was recovered by the police and, of course, is alleged to be the vehicle that was driven through the parade. Did you hear me advise you of that?
Yes, I heard.
All right, so that motion was addressed previously, and I granted the request for that jury view. Did you hear me say that?
I'm informed.
All right, thank you. So with that, you have a right to be present at that jury view. Did you hear me say that?
I'm informed.
And I would like you to be there. I believe it is a piece of evidence. That's why I've drafted jury instruction 152 the way that I did. Did you hear me say that?
I'm informed.
So my question to you then this morning is, do you want to be present at the jury view of the vehicle?
I don't see the reason why I would need to be present.
This guy's a
That's
douchebag.
my question to you, though, is do you want to be present for it? You are the accused in this case. You're the person who the state has alleged committed these acts. The jury view will be to view a piece of evidence that frankly can't come into the courtroom due to its size, and the jury's going to be shown that. So do you want
wire
to
thing keeps locking
be
up. It's
present
crazy.
at that?
For the record, I'm not a person. I'm a human being. And no, I do not consent to or agree to being present at a jury view.
All right, then I'm going to honor his request, but what I am going to do, though, is as part of that process in any event, because it's being done in a secure location, is I have ordered that I want to make a record of what's being done, and I want a visual record of what is being done. And so this jury view is going to take place in the Sally Port of the jail. And precautions are being taken so that the jurors do not know where it's at. It'll look like a garage, right? Anything that says jail within the Sally Port is being covered up. That will be verified before anyone is taken in there. They will be transported to there. I'm not sure if they'll walk or drive because it's very close. But then the sheriff's department, because it's, as the court official, I'm in charge of keeping the record, not keeping the record, I'm in charge of making the record. It's the better way to say it. And I want to make sure that there's a record of what is done for this trial and certainly for any appellate purposes if need be. The sheriff's department, excuse me.
Man, what's wrong with my machine, man?
The sheriff's department is obviously charged with the
Gotta be the
security
connection.
and safety of a courtroom, including the jurors. And so I have asked the sheriff's department to record. And so there is a camera with that will be on a tripod that will record what's there before anyone gets there. I've instructed them to take that camera to walk around
No, I don't get what the
vehicle
hell, man. What is wrong with
while
this,
it's
man?
recording to put it
Never
back
had
on the
problems until
tripod.
yesterday. Now suddenly we've
And
gotten all these streaming
before,
problems.
The jurors and the court are brought in. Once we are brought in, it will also be
Slow
recorded.
quality.
And that contemporaneous recording.
I don't know.
So that will be as
So weird.
I will walk. We will walk around the vehicle one time. That will be recorded, and then both of those recordings are going to be made part of the record. Because the second recording is for the record and has the jurors, at this point I'm going to seal it so that at least until the conclusion of the case,
think it's
given
pilled
the order
again.
that I have
It's pilled.net. They
regarding
did an upgrade the other night.
what's referenced as an
Every time I
anonymous or
have the
numbered
browser
jury,
active, the
so
freaking
that will
computer
be
starts
sealed.
locking up.
But what will be released to the public or be made part of the public record, and so therefore any media requests.
It's an issue
would be
when
that
you release the
recording that just
Krakens that
shows
used
the
to do
vehicle
that,
without
or the
jurors
Scratchens
in it,
rather.
without the court. So, and then I plan
Something
on
with
also bringing
pilled, I
that back
think.
to the courtroom while the sheriff's department's going to bring
Have
it
to let
back,
tech
and
support
then we'll
know.
show it to you at that time.
I have a question though.
Go ahead.
It was fine, and they did some upgrade the other night, and I couldn't upload
If
thumbnails, and they told me that's what it was.
if I have a right to be present, then I have a right to not be present. How can this
Yeah,
take
that's what
place
she's telling you.
if I don't agree or consent to being present? How can it even still take place without?
You don't want to
It will
freaking be
take
there.
place,
It's up
sir.
to you.
I'm just going to honor your request not to be there.
I'm asking a question though. How can it take place without my consent or agreement?
If you don't, it's going to take place. That's how I'm going to answer that, sir. So you not going there is not going to prevent it from happening.
My law is.
But you can forfeit your right or to
I
be
didn't-
there
I
by your
didn't-
conduct. And by
I
your
didn't-
conduct, by not answering my question, by saying I don't want to be there and I don't consent to it, you will be forfeiting your right to be present and essentially waiving that.
Doesn't I have to sign something for it to be waived?
I don't think so in this case.
Well, yesterday you said something about
I know I said that, and I've
Yeah.
had some time to think about that further, I don't believe I need to take a full waiver with you signing anything or even agreeing to the waiver.
so why did I have to do that for when my
I'm not going to answer those
Yeah,
questions
it's
because that would
pilled
be
because it hasn't.
for
I
me
haven't had
to
a
give
problem
you,
since
an
I took the
explanation
focus off
the
of
law.
Pilled. I think it's Pilled.net that's
No.
causing
I'm just
me to
going
run
to
so
tell you
slow.
that I'm not going to require a written waiver from you in order to honor your request to not be at the, or even if I phrase it, your lack of consent to the jury view.
and is that lawful law? Because
Sir, I'm not
The
going to
way-
go through all the law that applies to that.
The way
This is
I-
my ruling. If you disagree with it and ultimately there is a conviction, you can raise that on appeal. But
No,
your lack
Your
of
Honor.
consent is not going to stop the jury view. It's going to happen. It's a piece of evidence that I cannot physically fit in this courtroom. It's too big. There's no way to get it in.
okay, I'm informed of that, but at the same time, if I haven't signed any waiver, how could it be lawful? I haven't given consent or agreement to a jury view. I haven't waived any right.
I don't know if it's Pilled.
When the whole issue was brought up on the record yesterday, my first thing that I said was, I don't see the relevancy of why there should even be a jury view. And that was the whole issue. And yesterday I was told about I don't know how you say it, the colloquy or however you say it. I don't know how to pronounce it.
I know
Which
what
was-
I said. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I had time to reflect. That was my initial reaction to your statement yesterday, but I've thought about it some more and I'm changing my mind. I don't believe I need to take a full waiver with a colloquy with you and anything in writing. I'm advising you, you have the absolute right to be there. But I'm also advising you that if you choose not to be there, I will honor that request. And I'm not going to
Your Honor,
force you. I'm not going to direct the sheriff's department to, use any type of force, if you will, or require you or get you there without your consent. You either cooperate with that process or you don't.
The way I interpret the law, though, Your Honor, which the law is designed to be interpreted by the people. The way I interpret that is I have the right or essentially to be there or not to be there, and it still has to be an agreement or consent. That's how I interpret the law.
My ruling on that, sir, is I disagree with you. You do not need to provide consent for the jury view to happen. Your objection is noted for the record. I'll make a specific finding today that it is